guy. And someone that has everything. He turns to drugs and now he's done. He's done. He died of an overdose. And that happens to so many of these people. I look at a guy that's just waiting. I mean, it's so sad, but Justin Bieber, I was reading about him yesterday. He's got everything he could ever want. And I guess he went into some coffee shop yesterday, Starbucks, and he didn't have a shirt on, and he ordered something, and the person told him, you gotta have a shirt on to order something from here. And he started cussing at the guy, yelling at him, telling him his bodyguard's gonna beat him up and all this stuff. And a basketball player happened to be there. This is in Hollywood. A basketball player happened to be there, Blake Griffin. You guys know who he is? Blake, he happened to be in there sitting, drinking coffee nicely, and enjoying the atmosphere, and all of a sudden this young guy, kid, is yelling and cussing and threatening people with his bodyguard. Blake Griffin gets up and pulls him away and starts trying to settle him down. I guess he wasn't happy. He started fighting back. Blake Griffin slaps him, knocks him to the ground. and then he left before the cops got there. But this guy, he's got everything he could ever want, all the money he could ever want, anything. And he's like on a crash course to destruction. All right, James, go ahead. Let's see what else you got. All right, you guys may have heard this story before, but I'm going to tell it anyways. These are some wolves. You guys ever heard of how they hunt for wolves? They used to hunt for wolves? Nobody? All right, let me tell the story then. If you know the story, just hold on. What they'll do up in colder regions, Arctic regions, actually everybody's Arctic now, but they'll take a long knife, it might be a 12-inch knife, and they'll take some kind of animal that they've butchered or something, and they'll put that knife in the blood of the animal and let it freeze. And they'll put it in again, let it freeze. Keep doing that in the blood until they have like a popsicle built around this knife. And then they'll take that knife and stick it out in the ground somewhere. And obviously the wolves are drawn to blood. It just drives them crazy. And the wolf will come around and they'll start licking this popsicle. And it'll just go crazy and it'll lose its mind, just like, and it never discovers when the knife slices its own tongue, and then it's feeding on its own blood, and then it just dies. And that's the way I see someone who gets caught up in a spiral of drugs, is that they think they're having fun. Everything's fun. Everything, peace seems to come, rest, and everything seems to be okay, but they never discover when they're completely destroying themselves. And that's what happened with the actor. He didn't discover. Now, I think a lot of times what happens is when you get into that kind of lifestyle, the people around you say, you gotta straighten up. This is not going to be good for the kids or me, and then your life even starts to spiral even more. So while they're trying to figure out the slides, we'll keep going here. Guys, there's a challenge, and this is what I was challenged with when I was 18 years old, was that there's a different option. And I had been a Christian all my life, I guess. I mean, I'd gone to church every Sunday and didn't want to go to hell. I guess that would make me a Christian, right? But I never really gave my heart to Jesus, never really tried to say, man, I'm going to trust God for my happiness. And that's something that I did when I was 18 years old. And there's a Bible verse that says, taste and see that the Lord is good. You guys know that verse? I think it's Psalm 34, 8 or something like that. taste and see that the Lord is good. Guys, I don't really like to try a whole lot of different foods. In fact, there's a lot of foods I just don't try at all. How many of you guys like squash? Anyone out there like squash? How many don't like squash? Maybe that's a better question. How many how many don't like coleslaw? How many don't like liver and onions? There's a few out there. Well, at least I have something in common with a lot of you. I don't like a whole lot of foods. How many like eggplant? How many don't like eggplant? How many have never tried eggplant and don't ever plan on trying eggplant? That's me. Well, when I think of tasting something, I'm very reluctant. And I don't know what it is, but it's just like something gets on your tongue and you're like, yeah. When I eat squash, my throat just shuts up. It just says, we ain't letting that go by. And just coleslaw isn't even allowed on my tongue. It gets on my tongue. And, I remember when we went to China, I don't even know what I ate. Had this big pot. You never knew what was floating around in there, and you stuck your fork in there and you just ate it. And I just said to myself, well, this is like playing Fear Factor. Just eat it. And some of those things you just kept chewing and they never broke down. I think they were part of the intestinal process. Certain things I don't think we're supposed to be eating because the acids in your own body don't eat them away. So if you eat them, does the acids eat them away? I don't know. But they don't break down, so you just chew on it. But guys, I'm reluctant to taste things, but for some reason, when I was 18, I got just the message of Jesus and what he offers you. Something told me, hey, you got to take a taste of this. You got to try this. And that's when I first said, God, I want you to be part of my life. And that was, I don't remember how many years that was. 27 years ago. And there's nothing that ever compared to it. And that's what Jesus says, that he knocks at your heart. If you open up your door and you say, God, come on into my life and take my life. He says, if you open up the door, he'll come in and he'll share a meal with you. That's what it says. I like meals. But he'll come in and become close to you. It'll be, if you have someone, if you go out to eat with someone, or you have someone over for dinner, that's a close friend. That's someone that you're acquainted with, that you're getting to know better. And that's what Jesus says. If you open up your door to your heart, he'll come in and he'll have a meal with you. He'll sup with you. He'll share some food. Go ahead, James. Let's see what else we got there. Guys, in a lot of things that happen in life, it says a wise person learns from experience. A wiser person learns from the experiences of others. And that's how I'm hoping, guys, just from my own experience, what I went through, hope you can learn something from that. Hope you don't have to learn all the lessons on, by yourself, that you can listen to others, find out through others. Oh, there's my foods. And okay, we're good. Thank you very much, guys. Dave, do you have enough time? Or should I keep going? I'm sorry, man. That's hardly enough time. We good? Well, thank you, guys.